sci-fi film noir, or a neo-noir, I guess.
So with that said, I liked that part of it, sort of like, I don't know what's going to happen, what's really happening. And then we came to the end. Wah,
Saw a little bit of that when I
wah.
watched Hypnotic. I saw a little bit of that going on in there because you got these kind of Jedi Knight kind of guys running around, right? With doing their brain, with their doing their Jedi mind tricks and stuff.
So I felt like this movie in the very beginning, and that was the way it was designed. It was very
Like
contrived.
anti-hero type characters in it. These guys were a bit anti-hero, right? Like at the end
Yeah.
where the family's leaving, it looks like they're skipping through a field of bodies, like it's so happy.
At what age did Ben Affleck land his first acting job? Stick around until the end of our video to find out.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about Hypnotic with the very handsome Ben Affleck.
I'm fanboy from Chiang Mai, Thailand.
Yeah,
And this
amateur girl.
from Hollywood, California, or from somewhere near Hollywood. So
Right.
today we're going to talk about Hypnotic, and I'll let Amateur Girl begin the discussion, and I will keep my mouth shut.
Amateur Girl and Fanboy present the Big Bad Glass movie review.
So I felt like this movie in the very beginning, and that was the way it was designed. It was very contrived, but as you watch it, you understand why. It was a calculated film, but and very deliberate and intense. There was a huge body count in this film, which I don't particularly care for. But again, when you see the end, you see what's really happening.
Watch out for the spoiler alerts on this one. It's pretty
If
huge.
people are watching our channel, then they better watch the movie first.
Yeah,
And
it's going to be a big spoiler alert.
Right? So I felt like it was a mind-bending film, sort of trying to sort of be like, the storyline's totally different, but like a Matrix, or what's another film like this might be reminiscent of?
Well, I kept thinking of Cronenberg and his 80s films, Scanners, and there was a movie I saw that's not Cronenberg. It's actually was George Powell, famous animator from the 50s and 60s. He made this movie in 1969. I just recently watched it. I had seen it years and years ago, and I happened to come on the air. This is before I saw Hypnotic, and it's called The Power with George Hamilton in 1969. And it's about this group of scientists. They find out that one of the members of their little group is like and they don't know who it is. It's a guy who genetically skipped thousands and thousands of years of human evolution. And so he can like move things with his mind and do all this stuff, but they don't know who it is. And the guy starts killing off members of the scientists in the group. So it was, and so I saw a little bit of that when I watched Hypnotic. I saw a little bit of that going on in there because you got these kind of Jedi Knight kind of guys running around, right? With doing their brain, with their doing their Jedi mind tricks and stuff. It was in a couple of scenes in Hypnotic where they stop the car and he goes, "There are no droids here. There are no, you want to see Obi-Wan Kenobi talking, right?" It was just that kind of movie. And then there was, Videodrome. So there's quite a few films that this is a reminiscent of. I looked at the movie as a sci-fi film noir, or a neo-noir, I guess you French, the dark film. We're in late 40s and 50s. Were considered like, usually shot in black and white, usually have a hard-boiled detective and, and a femme fatale. And you had all that in this, right? Had all those elements of the neo-noir or the film noir in this movie. So why did I get off on that little rant? You asked me, what this reminded me of. It reminded me of a lot of stuff, right? It's reminiscent. It took a lot of elements from a lot of different places.
Well, and so it was I did like the film. It was sort of it was a mystery in a way. Well, it definitely was a mystery, right? You're trying to figure out what's really happening.
Neo
So I
noir.
liked, yeah. So I liked that. What I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Film noir, I just said, comes from the French dark, and French are the French critics of the 30s, 40s, and into the 50s and into the 60s were very, very influential on world film or international film. So they had these movies after World War II came out. They were very dark, usually in black and white. They had like a horror movie. They had a bad ending. It's usually a mystery. There's these really, kind of like anti-hero type characters in it. These guys are a bit anti-hero, right? Like at the end,
Yeah.
when the family's leaving, it's just like they're skipping through a field of bodies, like it's so happy. Like, what the hell's going on here? Right, that last scene, like what in the world? And I did have some, there's some plot holes too, but yeah, we'll
Yeah,
leave that alone.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, usually a dark, sinister, brooding, all those things, right? That was film noir. Now they have many neo noirs that have been made, like Chinatown with Jack Nicholson from the 70s being probably the number one neo noir type movie. Usually they're in color, and they're brightly lit. Occasionally they use those old shadows from those old movies. And there's a whole list of these neo noirs, and I put this in that same category: neo noir and sci-fi type movie, right?
So with that said, I liked that part of it, sort of like, I don't know what's going to happen, what's really happening. And then we came to the end. Wah, wah.
I enjoyed the skipping through the field of dead bodies. I thought that was hysterically weird. I go, what in the world is going on here? And then they leave it up for, again, I'm going to try to avoid the spoiler alerts. Skipping through a field of dead bodies, maybe that'll get your attention to go see it, right? And also, and the plot hole with the guy with the protagonist, I want to say the villain, leaving it open for a Hypnotic 2, I guess. Which I doubt very. Here's the funny. I'll be quiet again. I have so much to add.
Okay, so I predict there will be no Hypnotic 2. I mean,
Good prediction.
Mr. Affleck, Ben Affleck, you're so wonderful, but this is just not another fail. I mean, I did enjoy it, but it just wasn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't great.
The critics are giving like 33%. I'm going to give it about 50%.
33%. I thought it was better than that.
Yeah, that's why I said it. 50%, just because it failed in so many areas. Plot holes, for one, which I won't go into. Reminiscent of, tried to be reminiscent of many things. Here's the interesting part. It was made during COVID in 2020. So it's been sitting on the shelf for 3 years.
Oh.
Could say, for me, I was entertained. I liked the plot twist. Even though there were some plot holes, I enjoyed it. It kept me interested. I thought it was a fairly solid B movie.
Yes.
I mean, it could have been an A movie if they had like substituted the villain with like, made Brad Pitt the villain, or made some other big star. Immediately would have just up the game of the movie, right? Because this guy, William Fichtner, who's a capable actor, he just doesn't have that kind of, to carry that kind of part. I mean, this this character, as it's written, is a strong villain, and it should have been a bigger star in that part to be up against Ben Affleck. And then Ben Affleck went through the movie like he was sleepwalking. He was like maybe he just got COVID or something. I don't know, but he was a little dazed. He had a dazed thing. Maybe that was how he felt, how we should approach the whole part, as kind of a day. He's kind of in a daze, right? Because I don't want to go into the spoiler alerts again. And then you had Alice Braga. Now, if you'd had a bigger female star in the part, he would have upped the game at this game. Now, the director, Robert Rodriguez, is a big director. He directed he's not a big director. I think as a mass director, I don't think he's not like Tarantino or anything like that. Even though him and Tarantino are very good friends, they made that Death Proof movie together, you know, and Planet Hell or whatever those things were. They kind of take off on the budget movies of the 70s. He made those, and he made El Mariachi, Once Upon a Time in Mexico. He's made Spy Kids, but this is not a classic, ladies and gentlemen. It's a fairly solid B movie. It's like in the old days they'd have the A movie and then the B movie together. Like I don't know what the A movie with Hypnotic would be, what it was, that they could put this on the bill together. That's what they used to do in the old days at the movie theaters, right? They have the A movie and the B movie together. So you get the bit of the classic along with the dredge, like
Minority Report, maybe.
Yeah. Minority Report's a great one. It's fantastic. Yeah, other than that, I'm looking at my little list here. Robert Rodriguez. Oh, the one that he did do, Dusk Till Dawn, was very great. So he likes to, because he's Mexican American. He loves to put in, and then surprisingly enough, they didn't have any references to, other than just Alice Braga, references to Mexican Americans in this movie. It wasn't really any reference to any Hispanic things in this. It's just a straightforward, mystery movie. Maybe that was the problem. He just did his heart wasn't in it, right? Because he likes to do that kind of Hispanic stuff.
No heart.
Yeah, his heart wasn't in it, and I don't know why. It was a bad time. COVID was a bad time for everybody, right? So it was probably difficult when they're making it and everything because of all what was going on. But again, I had some good plot twists, and I thought it was fun. I was going to say something about Robert Rodriguez. The one thing I liked, I've known him for a long time as fanboy. I've known of Robert Rodriguez since way back when. His thing was that this is how he got started. He saved a bunch of money, like maybe a couple $1,000. Took his 8mm camera. I think he did go into Mexico, and he made an 8mm El Mariachi. Went to the film festivals. I think he got some awards for it because it's amazing. He was able to put this actually almost a full-length movie on 8mm together. And I don't think he was like 18 years old. He was very young. Might have been younger. And then after he became a bit of success, he went back and remade El Mariachi as a regular movie. So I thought that was, basically as a director, you really got to make your own. It's almost like being an entrepreneur, right? You got to make your own job. Anybody going to come and get you, going to come hire you and say, oh, you got to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way for many things. So anyway, other than that, I think I like the way you say stream it or skip it. I say go ahead and stream it. If you're bored and seen everything, this is another one you can watch. All right, well that's Fanboy from Chiang Mai, Thailand.
And Amateur Girl from somewhere near Hollywood.
Okay, and thank you so much for visiting us today.
Ben Affleck was just 12 years old when he landed a part in the 1984 PBS TV series, The Voyage of the Mimi.